Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 tips for dealing with nausea in early pregnancy. So if you've watched my other videos, you would know that I have struggled with like intense nausea and throwing up. And I'm like, in the beginning, it was probably between 5 and 20 times a day that I was throwing up. It was getting completely unmanageable, ridiculous. Like, I was losing weight, as I said before in one of my other videos. I was like completely wiped off my feet, couldn't do anything, was just feeling like complete crap. It was like, I felt like it was controlling my life because I was so sick, so much. So I'm not talking like a little bit like, oh, I kind of feel nauseous. That sucks too, but I'm talking extreme nausea. So my first tip for extreme nausea, especially like if you're throwing up a lot every day, like you don't have any days where you're not throwing up, talk with your doctor. But something that really helped me was diclectin. So it's just a prescription medicine that your doctor can assign to you. It's totally safe for both the baby and mom. And yeah, it really, like, it cut down my puking. I would say, okay, let's say average 10 times a day, probably down to under 5 for the first bit. And then it got even less after that. So that's like quite a big difference. I will say as well, I am 13 weeks right now, and I am down to probably throwing up 3 times a week, which is huge because I was throwing up a lot more than that. So that is tip number 1, is if you're like, if you feel like your nausea is controlling your life and you can't do anything, talk to your doctor, because it's not healthy or fun to be sick to the point where you can't do anything else. So yeah, diclectin, that's my tip number 1. Tip number 2, which actually helped me a lot with, besides medicine and stuff like that, is these pressure point bands. So what you do is you just wear them on your wrists, and it's about like 3 inches down from where your like wrist bends. That little white dot should be, and it just pushes on a pressure point. Don't really know how it works, but it's like a little like ball inside the bracelet, so it like sticks out and it pushes on a spot in your wrist, and you wear them on both of your wrists, and that actually made a huge difference as well. I swear by these. Like, I went on these before the diclectin, and that alone, just wearing these, cut my puking down immensely, like way more than not wearing them. So I like basically wore them consistently every single day up until about a week ago. I was wearing them every day, and now I'll just wear them here and there. If I'm having like a bad day, like an off day, I'll wear them, and they do wonders. So tip number 2, get some pressure point bands. You can get these at like drugstore, anywhere. They're not expensive and totally worth it. Okay, tip number 3. Invest in some peppermint oil. So this seems little, but you can find, actually, like, I use the brand Eden's Garden, and it's really inexpensive compared to some other brands, and it does exactly the same thing, same quality, blah blah blah, but this stuff is awesome. And I would just either apply a drop of it with like on my temples, or even just smell it, like have it in my purse, and like if I start to get nauseous, just smell it. And that actually helped a lot. It calms your stomach. I also applied this a little bit to my stomach if I was feeling really sick, and that did wonders. Helps a lot, just eases your stomach, like it just makes you feel more calm, and really helped. So I strongly recommend some peppermint oil. Tip number 3, along the same lines, is peppermint tea. So this was also really helpful for me. I don't know about you, but like I found it was super hard for me to drink water. when I was throwing up so much, because I would honestly probably puke that up too. So staying hydrated and drinking enough water every day, which is super, super important while you're growing a person, was hard for me. So having like mixing it up a little bit and not just like chugging water and then barfing it up, having some mint tea, like a warm beverage that soothes your stomach. Again, the peppermint is super, super good for nausea. And yeah, it's really relaxing, refreshing. It says even on this box that it will soothe stomach. So yeah, this stuff, awesome. Again, totally not expensive, grocery store, super helpful. I went through a lot of this. Okay, and my final tip, tip number 5, is don't ever get hungry, like ever. Because that would, I don't know about you, but for me personally, if I was even like a little bit hungry, I would barf right away. Didn't matter, like I would throw up. So super awesome and easy thing that you can eat and have access to super fast is crackers. And my other tip with crackers is switch it up. Don't eat one type of cracker all the time, because I did that for the first little bit, like the Premium Plus, just saltine crackers. I did that, like I just ate those, and now I can't stand them because I threw them up so much. So like have, okay, this cracker one day, and then have the saltine Premium Plus the next day, and then have Ritz crackers the next day, and like switch it up. Don't just like hook onto one cracker, because you might get aversions to it and it might start making you actually feel worse. Because now if I haven't thrown up for a few days, and if I ate a saltine cracker, I would probably puke. So switch up your crackers. But yeah, don't ever let yourself get hungry. Also with the crackers, keep a pack or 2 different types by your bed, and before you sit up in the morning, eat a cracker right away. Just eat a cracker. So yeah, that's my top 5 tips for controlling your nausea. And I'm also going to give you one bonus tip. Tip number 6 that I actually just found out recently that has made a difference is if you're taking your prenatal vitamins in the morning and you're throwing up a lot, take them before bed. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner, because I know that the prenatals made me feel sick, like every time. Like I would have to lay flat for half an hour after eating one or taking one, and like even then, like for the rest of the day I would just feel like ugh, like I could taste it. So like if that's happening and that's making you feel sick, take it before bed. Problem solved. You sleep through that nauseous period of time. So yeah, that's a bonus tip, tip number 6. Take your prenatals before bed instead of in the morning. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video, guys. I hope this was helpful for you. I know that nausea sucks, and if you're experiencing it a lot, hopefully these tips can help you. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye!